Hi everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm excited to do. It is going to be kind of a part 2 to a video I did recently, and that was called Brands That Have Been Dethroned. I will link the video, of course, if you haven't seen it and you want to check it out. But the gist of it, I was talking about brands. I had 10 different brands in there, and all brands that I really loved, like have considered favorite brands at one point. Some of them I'm just not really into the brands as much these days. Others I'm just simply not as excited as I was about them at one time. But I thought it would be a fun video to do kind of like a follow-up to that and talk about like my top favorites from those 10 dethroned brands. Does that sound fun? Does it? Does that sound fun? If that does sound fun to you, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first up in that video, I talked about Maybelline, and I said how Maybelline has been a brand that I've been using for so many years, and I used to buy so many of their products starting from when I was in high school and college, but I just haven't gotten very excited about their releases recently. To me, they just fell off the throne for me is all, okay? Nothing bad. A lot of these brands I like. I don't have like beef against them, most of them. But for Maybelline, it's like one of those that like I almost feel sad that I'm just not as interested in these days because I had such a love for them at one time. So I don't really have a lot of Maybelline products in my collection right now that I could pull out and mention, but there were two like standout products in general from the brand that I thought I would mention, and that is their lipsticks and also their mascaras. Now the Maybelline mascaras were some of my favorite for like years and years and years. I would continually repurchase them. It was so funny. I did a TikTok dance recently. Oh yeah, I did a TikTok dance recently, and my outfit, I didn't realize it, and I was wearing workout gear because I had just been working out, so I had like biker shorts on and a sports bra on, and I like did this dance keeping up with Gen Z and everything, and then as I posted it and I watched it back, I was like, oh my gosh, I look like a Maybelline mascara. I look like Great Lash. And my caption was like, what makeup product do I remind you of? And so many people were like, that Maybelline mascara. Even Kathleen Lights commented and said, you look like the OG Maybelline Great Lash. I was like, yes, I do. I loved that mascara, man. So I've used so many of their mascaras over the years, but also their lipsticks. Clay Crush. Who remembers Clay Crush? Part of the reason I bought that was because I believe it was Casey Holmes recommended it. Partly another reason I bought it was because I had a gigantic crush on Clay Matthews, who played for the Green Bay Packers at that time. I am a Green Bay owner, thank you so much. I hope we have football this year. Another reason was because it was just a beautiful nude, and even many moons ago, I still really loved nude lipstick, and I was such a fan of the Maybelline lipsticks. I recommended so many of them. I purchased I had a gigantic Maybelline lipstick collection at one point. And I thought they just came out with really fantastic products, but for a really affordable price. And also it was a brand that was really easily accessible to me. You know, I could find it pretty much no matter where I went. If I was gonna run to CVS for printer paper, I could pick up Maybelline. If I was gonna run to Target for if I was gonna run to Target for one thing and leave with 18,000 things, there's probably going to be a Maybelline product in there too. But just recently, you know, just like what I said in the first video, they just don't catch my attention that much anymore. I have heard that one of their new eyeshadow palettes that they released recently is really good and has been getting really good reviews. I know my friend Ashley Clady said that she was really impressed with it too, so that makes me happy. Like I'm like hoping good things, you know. I'm not a monster, okay? Do monsters wear glitter on their eyes? Do they? And then speaking of my eye look, I do have a little tutorial over on my Instagram, which is March Beauty Word. If you want to see how I got the eyes and the lips, all of that, I will link that down below. The next brand that I mentioned is Becca Cosmetics. Becca was another one that I said, you know, just doesn't excite me as much these days. I'll try not to repeat myself too much because I just posted that video, and hopefully a lot of you have seen it, or you will go over and watch it before you watch this one. Have it all make sense, you know? But I used to be so excited for so many of their releases, and I would just be like waiting for the next thing that they were going to come out with. I had so many Becca products, especially the highlighters. I know Becca highlighters still get so much hype. Well, they still get attention. and people still mention Becca highlights, but I don't feel like the hype is as much as it used to be even a few years ago. So of course I thought about mentioning the highlights, but truly I don't have that many from Becca left. I have decluttered a lot of them. I have some in face palettes, but also some products that I think are really nice are still face products, but the bronzer and blushes from Becca I still think are really good products. I really like my Capri Coast. This is actually in my, what is this in? My Project Pan, my 2020 Project Pan. I have never had pan on a bronzer, and every single year that I do a Project Pan, I always pull one in. But I really thought I might be able to do the Becca. Can you see that giant dip on camera? Like, I feel like that's significant. And I don't know. I feel like one day it's gonna happen. Maybe. Probably not. But it could. I don't know. I'm trying though. I don't know if it's gonna happen. But Capri Coast is like really beautiful. A bronzer I've had for a very long time. I've recommended it continually and I still really enjoy it. Also the blushes from Becca, I think that these are really nice. I feel like I hear people talking about the blushes more than I do the bronzers, but definitely a highlight would like trump them all for sure. The one that I have is in Flower Child, and this is such a nice blush. It looks, to me, it looks a little bit more intimidating in the pan. Like it looks a little bit brighter than what I would normally wear, but I just think the formula on these are really nice. And you know, I've continued to keep these two around even though I've decluttered so many of my Becca highlighters. I continue to keep these around because I think that they're really nice face products. Next up, I mentioned NYX Cosmetics. So NYX is another affordable brand. I did mention that I thought that their prices were creeping up, and I understand that that happens, obviously, inflation and everything, so I get it. But for me, with like the NYX prices creeping up, I didn't really feel like what they were releasing was necessarily matching the higher price tag. And like I mentioned in my first video, I felt like I could spend just a few dollars more and get something more on the high end side that I felt like the quality at least was starting to match that price point. Does that make sense? So yeah, NYX Cosmetics is another one that I really don't have much in my collection from anymore either, which is a bummer. But definitely if I would have to pick like some top products from NYX Cosmetics, I would say their lip products. They have a lot of really good ones. The soft matte lip creams I thought were fantastic. I've gone through so many soft matte lip creams. London was a shade that I remember. London was probably my favorite. I think I've gone through like a ridiculous amount of the London soft matte lip creams from NYX, and they had so many different colors and they were so affordable and they were great. The lip lingeries, I thought those were fantastic. Even the the butter glosses, the one that I liked a lot was in Fortune, I'm pretty sure. But the butter glosses from NYX, I also thought those were really nice. I'm pretty sure I bought those off a recommendation from Katie or Lesser Lux, and that was years ago, but I also really liked that gloss formula. So those would be the products that I'd say would be my top picks still from NYX. But what do you think? Like, because that truly was so long ago, I'm really curious if you guys have holy grail products from NYX that you could mention in the comments. Maybe newer products that they've come out with that you're like, these were like bang on. Okay, girlfriend, like you need to try these out. If you have those from NYX, I would love if you left them in the comments. Maybe I could try to find, you know, put together a video of like you guys recommending different products to me and I could test them out, see what I think. I don't know. Holler at me. Okay, let's just not do that anymore. Next up, I have Becca Cosmetics, and once again, MAC was a brand that I actually got into more because of YouTube. I really wasn't a MAC girl before YouTube, but even though they're a brand that I still have I still have quite a few products from, and I like a lot of their products. For me, the reason that they were dethroned is because it just was getting too overwhelming for me. So I was saying that MAC was just a brand that just started to overwhelm me. They come out with so many collections and really huge collections, and I actually used to receive quite a bit of PR from them, and I was like, you know, I want to, but it's just, sometimes it's just too much to handle. And you know, there's obviously so many wonderful bloggers and influencers and YouTubers and all of that you know, someone else could enjoy the collections even more than I was able to at that point, or be able to do more with them, because I just was feeling so like I just couldn't get to everything, you know. But they do, I think that they still have a lot of really nice products. A standout for me for sure is the Fix Plus. This is one of the first products that I purchased from MAC Cosmetics, and I'm still so impressed with it. I've gone through multiple bottles and I'm about out of this one. This is the original. I have like some of the scented ones. The lavender one I really like. I think I went through that one recently. The only one that I didn't really love was the matte one. That was the only one that I just we just didn't really vibe with each other. But I really like the Fix Plus, and like I'm pretty sure I said this in my first video, but like I will continue to purchase this because it's one of my favorite sprays. I think it's so good at really melting all of your powders together on your face, so everything just looks a lot more natural. Like if I'm feeling especially cakey or really powdery, I know that I can spray some Fix Plus and like boom, my makeup's gonna turn around like that, and I appreciate it. And I also feel like it helps makeup just be more long wearing, which I appreciate so much. So I'm a big fan of the Fix Plus, but also I definitely wanted to give a shout out to their lip products. I feel like so many, like, how would I say this? I feel like a lot of people are like MAC lips, like nope, don't like them, don't get why people like them. And then other people are like, I stan MAC Cosmetics lipsticks, and honestly I really do like them. I like the matte formula the most, but that is kind of also just me. Like I just like matte lips more in general. I either like matte lips or really glossy lips. I kind of don't like the in-between satin as much, but two shades for sure that I enjoy is Age, Sex, Location. Let me just Age, Sex, Location and Honey Love. I just did a lipstick declutter recently, and I was like, I just can't get rid of these. That one is Age, Sex, Location. That was a collab with Nicki Minaj. And then the other one that I really love is in Honey Love, which, you know, obviously just both nudes. Age, Sex, Location is just a little bit darker, but I enjoy both of these so much. I like the formula so much. They're just lipsticks that I want to keep around because I enjoy them. So Age, Sex, Location, I don't, is this one available anymore? It was the collaboration with Nicki Minaj, so I don't know if it'd be around, but I believe Honey Love still is. And I don't know, I really like their matte lip formula. I had to continue to keep some around after that declutter. I spoke about NARS Cosmetics, and I said NARS kind of fell into that same category as MAC for me, just a lot. Like it was hard for me to keep up with. I haven't gotten PR from NARS for quite some time. When I mentioned that, you know, I just didn't think I was doing a very good job. Like I just didn't think I was really benefiting the brand either by sending me these big old collections. But I actually did get something recently, and I got an email from NARS asking if I wanted to receive a collection, which I thought was really great because I've noticed that more brands are starting to ask before they just send things, which is nice because, for example, like Urban Decay sent an email maybe like last month, and they had a new collection coming out that was really like glitter focused, and it was just a lot of glittery things, and I said no to it because I'm like, you know what, as I'm wearing glitter on my eyes today, but it's not typically my foray, it's not what I'm reaching for the most. And I was like, you know, I understand that they also do have like a limited number that they send out, and it's not a collection that I feel like would scream to me that I would want to like reach for right away. So I said no, and I think it's nice that brands are hopefully going to start doing that more, instead of just kind of blindly sending things. And as someone who also moved last year, that was a really hard thing because I still 12 months later am getting notifications for products that are coming to my old address because like it just blindly goes out, which is like, why are you doing that? No. So yeah, but I was really excited. It was their bronze collection. I love bronzer. There was some lip products in there, and also some eye products. So I actually have a lot of that on my face today. So I did mention I'll have an Instagram tutorial, but I have some of the bronzers on. I have one of their glitters on my eyes, and then some of their lip products, including the Afterglow lip balm, which I also think is a really nice product from NARS. But the two, I wanted to just do either one or two from each brand. And two that I wanted to recommend from NARS, one is this foundation. I still think that this is such a nice one. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I'm still a really big fan of this one, and I would just highly recommend it. This one is definitely a very long wearing foundation, just like the name would suggest. It's more of a natural finish, which is kind of my sweet spot. It's medium to full, like it's definitely has buildable coverage to it, and I've just continued to be so impressed with this one. So definitely would recommend that from NARS. And then I do still like their face products. Like the Laguna bronzer was such a well-known thing. Obviously the Orgasm blush, like did you really think I wasn't gonna say Orgasm when I was talking about NARS? Did you think? Did you think I wasn't gonna say Orgasm when I was talking about NARS? No, you knew that was coming. But this is one of my favorite face palettes. I talk about it kind of a lot, I think, but I love this one. So this is the Montutane face palette. It came out in their like Paradise Party collection that I think was last summer. So NARS definitely releases a lot of different collections, but they also release a lot of face palettes and eyeshadow palettes. And if you can find one that, I think the key is finding one that has all of your perfect shades in it, then it really makes makes it a home run because the formula on these are really nice. I mean, obviously there's a reason that the Laguna bronzer does so well and that the Orgasm blush does so well. Like, there is a reason behind it, and it's because they are really nice products, but sometimes it's just like you have to find the right one for you, and this one is for me. So I believe this one is the Laguna bronzer. Yeah, so we have the Laguna bronzer and then also a blush and highlight in here, Manava blush and Makita highlighting powder, but all three of these shades just work so well for me. I've tried a couple of their other trios and it's like the blush was too bright or the bronzer was too light or the highlighter was too dark. It's just like all three didn't work out for me, and all three of these work out so well. So this is why I continually talk about this one and keep it around, because I think that's a really, really nice face palette for me. So those would be my top picks from NARS. Next up, from BH Cosmetics, I will say that BH is a brand that I haven't tried a lot from recently. I think the last products that I tried from BH were the eyeshadow palettes that Carly Bible came out with. She released 2 different palettes. I bought both of them because I was so excited. I love Carly Bible. So I did purchase both of those palettes. I have since decluttered both of them actually, but I thought that they were nice. But if I had to pick like a top product from BH, again, as someone who hasn't tried a lot from them recently, was their brush sets. And I think I mentioned this in the first video. I bought so many of the brush sets from BH when I was learning about brushes because they were more affordable. You could buy these big old sets. I kind of try to avoid buying brush sets now because it just, as someone who has so many brushes, it's not usually beneficial to me to purchase whole brush sets. But still, I thought that they were really nice quality. If you guys, again, once again, if you have favorites from BH, let me know. They are another brand that comes out with a lot, and I just have to say, like, when I do my Will I Bite videos and I have a new collection to talk about, I just can't get myself jazzed up for it, you know, like jazzy. Like, that just doesn't really happen. So I'd love to know if you have any favorites. But again, if I had to pick a top pick from BH that I've tried, I would say their brush sets. Next up, I had Smashbox Cosmetics. And if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you might not be surprised at what I'm going to say as a top pick. But it's the Cali Contour Palette. This is such a nice face palette, and I bought it because people started really raving about it, and I was like, okay, I'll try it out. I don't even really love larger face palettes as much anymore. I try not to purchase them, but this one I think is so nice because it has so many different, like, it's not just a blush palette, it's not just a highlight palette, it's not just a contour palette or a bronzer palette. Like, you have a little bit of everything. There's a setting powder here. I mean, I've used this under my eyes. I've used it to clean up contour. I've used it as like an inner corner highlight. There is a contour shade, there's a bronzer shade, there's a blush shade, and all of these fit really well for my skin tone. And then there are also 2 highlighters. Honestly, the highlighters are my least favorite. Like, if it was just 4 with these shades, I think that would be awesome, but still the packaging is like still really small, really nice quality. I think that this is a nice mirror. I've traveled a lot with this thing. Like, I'm so impressed with this. I wish Smashbox would come out with like more variations of this. I know they came out with another one that was like, what is this, the Cali Contour? There's like the Cali Glow, I think, that came out that had some more blushes in there. But instead of the what was those, the Cover Shot palettes they released a bunch of, like, these were so nice. And I feel like these got a lot of, you know, a lot of people talking about how great they were. And still, I believe this one is still available for sale. If face palettes are your thing, this one has so many different options in here, and I'm such a fan. Next up, we have Pure Cosmetics, and Pure is a brand that I still enjoy, and like I mentioned in the first video, I actually had just recently done a look with some of the products that they came out with in their Trolls collection. But again, when it came to Dethroned, I wasn't just like trying to throw shade at every single brand and talk about like brands that I'm just like, sometimes when I can't form words, I just hiss at the camera instead because I feel like people will understand what I'm trying to say. But again, like I mentioned in the beginning, some of these are just brands that I used to be so excited for all of their releases and always looking forward to them, and then I've just kind of found over the years that I just don't quite have that same level of excitement. But I still really do like Pure Cosmetics. And my top products, again, if you're like an OG Sam Squad member, their lashes. Dude, their lashes, man, these are so nice. And I mentioned this in the first video too, but I just don't wear false lashes as much as I used to a few years ago. When Pure came out with these lashes, I was still wearing lashes every single day, whether I was on YouTube, whether I was just going to the grocery store. Like, I loved wearing false lashes, and I would take time every single day to put my false lashes on. Now I just don't do that as much, so I don't reach for their lashes as much. I'm not repurchasing them as much, so they've just kind of fallen off a bit for me. But every time I wear them again, I'm like, yes, my lashes look great. Yes, girl, work it. And I just think that these are great. Bombshell and Diva are some of my favorites. The package I'm holding right here is Diva, and you can see I've already worn these. I think that they're really nice, and they're not so expensive. Like, I've also really enjoyed the Huda Beauty lashes, but also I'm wearing a product from Pure Cosmetics that I would highly recommend, and that is their foundation. This is the 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Longwear Foundation and Concealer. This is a really, really nice foundation. Again, I'm wearing it today and super impressed with it. I have seen this foundation get a lot of rave reviews on the internets, which is always very exciting. And this one was kind of unique because you have a doe foot on here, but then you also have, if you can see through the clear top, you have the pump on it too. And I think that's really cool because, you know, if I get down there, which, I mean, hey, look at that. I do like this foundation and I wear it quite a bit. You can like scoop product out if you want to, if you can't pump it out anymore. I think that's pretty neat. They have a ton of shades out there. It's a little bit hard to choose your right one. The one that I'm wearing today is LG5. It's a little bit light for me. I have started to self tan, and by that I mean I did it one time 1 week ago, so it's gonna take me a little bit longer to become that bronze goddess that I want to be, but I really like this one. It is more of full coverage. I actually tried to go a little bit lighter today because I didn't want super full coverage, but you can kind of play around with it, I would say, but it's more like high medium to full coverage. I think that has a little bit more of a natural finish. It does pull a little bit more matte, but not too much because I really do like natural, and it's just nice and it lasts a long time. This is a really good one, so another one that I'd recommend from Pure. All right, next up we have Morphe, and I feel like Morphe is like one of those brands that, like, out of all of them I've mentioned, I just really don't get on with the brand very much these days. I kind of just like glaze over when they come out with new releases, and I don't know, it's about the only one, but I feel like I had to include them because I used to just recommend and buy so much from Morphe. I was on their PR list for a short period of time, and yeah, I really, really liked them, and I just don't have that same vibe these days, which is fine, you know. That's fine, you just move on. But one product that I actually really do like, and I think that I will still continue to purchase because I haven't found anything that's really similar to this, so if you have, let me know. It's the Continuous Setting Spray. I still really enjoy this one, and like I said, I can't really find anything that's so similar to this. I only have a little bit left, so I don't want to spray it, but it just has such a, like, I mean, it's a continuous setting mist, and once again, kind of like with the Fix Plus, but the MAC just feels a little bit heavier, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to explain this without trying to like do gestures and make noises. That would get me demonetized for sure on YouTube. I really do like this one from Morphe. To me, it would definitely be a standout product, and I feel like it's, you know, like one of the least problematic releases from Morphe, so it's great. And then last up, I did mention Tarte, and Tarte was just one of those that, again, just a brand that I always look forward to the releases. I bought so many of them. I never caught the eye of Tarte, so I always bought everything on my own, and just a brand that I really enjoyed that just fell off for like multiple different reasons for me. But I have two products still in my collection that I think would be like my top picks from them. One I am wearing, and it is my blush. I do really like Tarte face products. The first product that I purchased from them after I didn't buy anything from them for like 2 years was their 9 Ways to Shine cheek wardrobe. They came out with like 3 like little stackable sets. One had like 2 blushes and a highlight, one was a bronzer, blush, and highlight, and I thought that was a really cool idea. I used to love their, well, I don't know if I would say I loved their blush books, but I liked the idea of their blush books because their blushes are really nice. I just came to not love these like giant blush books that I would have, so I liked that they came out with the smaller ones. Honestly, I didn't love those as much. They were a holiday release, and I just, you know, sometimes the holiday releases are not quite up to par with the rest of the brand, and while I thought that they were fine, it didn't compare to this little guy. I really like this little blush. This is the Paaarty blush, and it's spelled like that. Paaarty. Like, I didn't just say that because I'm like trying to be funny. That is the name of this blush. But I have it on today, and I just think it's a really nice pinky neutral blush, and they do last for a very long time, so I am impressed with that. This was a birthday gift at Sephora, like, I don't know, 18 years ago or something, and I'm never gonna go through it, but I like it and I still continue to wear it, and I think that it's a nice one. But then also, I was a really big fan of these lipsticks. These were the Rainforest, wait, now I'm not gonna am I gonna forget this? The Rainforest of the Sea lipsticks, I'm pretty sure. So this is a little mini, and this is in Rum Punch. I just have like the tiniest bit left to go. But that one is such a beautiful, again, kind of reminds me a little bit of the blush, like just like a really nice like pinky nude lipstick. I have just the tiniest bit left to go, so I kept it in my lipstick declutter because I was like, I would like to use this up. But I've had even more of these at one point from Tarte. Again, we just went through like, we were on a break, and it was like an extended break, and then we were still on a break.
We were on a break!
But and like now I'm like trying, like I said, I'm like trying to pick up the crown on the floor. It's like I'm trying, but I really like these, and they have a lot of really beautiful shades, so I would still recommend the Rainforest of the Sea lipsticks from Tarte. Alright guys, after that, those are going to be my top picks from the brands that I have dethroned. I hope that you enjoyed this spin on that video and seeing some of the products that I still like, I still have around, I still would recommend, I would still repurchase from these brands myself. Let me know what you thought in the comments for sure. If you want to see any other videos like this, you know, definitely let me know. Other than that though, if you guys did enjoy this one, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.